Welcome to How Can She Snap? This is the Marvel Snap podcast dedicated to the filthy casual. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Bros, with my brother from the same mother, Mr. Say it for me one time.
No big deal, baby.
There he is. We got a nice episode for you, boys and girls, today. It's a new season. We got Miss Marvel taking the Snap meta by storm. A lot of ongoings getting around in here. We're going to talk about the absolutely spicy AF OTAs that came out. They just dropped today. We're going to give our first impressions. I think it's going to change the meta quite handily, and it's going to be quite fun to see. We're also going to talk about the upcoming spotlights, whether you should invest your hard-earned spotlight keys on these. If you want to find us on the social medias, you can see us on YouTube at the Super Snap Bros and Twitter/X, the kid_snap. Let's get it. The kid. No big deal, baby. What's going on, my man? What's going on? How are you this week?
What's good, kid? I feel great, man. I always forget because I was just grinding the shit out of Conquest last week. That that initial climb to Infinite is really fun. Like it's great.
It is.
It doesn't last long these days, but it was everything back in the day. It was just a blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes took the whole month. Because I was a scrub, and then also didn't have cards, and then it's still really enjoyable just doing that, just the quick ladder games. Not too much thinking. You're just blasting. Chain queuing up in the ladder. I love it.
And that's why I play mainly ladder. I only had and we could talk about our conquests, and we could talk about our last minute heroics in the conquest as well. But yeah, that's why I like ladder. It's why I played this game, just because it's quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have that much time all the time for conquest, so I just like queuing up quick ladder games, and I love it. So I mainly play ladder, and yeah, this is fun. It's fun to because you can try out new decks, and the climb is fun, man. It is good. I wish that I don't know. What do you think about the bots? Like, to me personally, I don't mind them too much. Like, getting a bot once in a while, it's kind of funny to beat up on them.
I don't mind like the experience playing them, but they're like usually the main reason why I play Conquest is because like I think it kind of invalidates the whole experience. Like I don't feel like I did anything. Like I like to feel like I somewhat accomplished something on the season, and like I think if you grind in high infinite, like the bots go away. But there's just no way I'm gonna be able to put enough hours and play enough games to try to get like top 50 on Infinite.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Also, I don't even think I'm good enough either. Like, so there's also that.
Yeah.
So
there's no bots once you hit infinite. Like, it doesn't matter what part of infinite. There's none. So it doesn't mean high infinite.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So once you get to the point where there's no bots, then it's like, well, I'm not gonna climb to the top anyway. So I don't know.
Well, at least you can say like, oh, I want to be top like 10,000, or like I want to be top 1,000. You could do that, like, and not like dump 40 hours a week into this, grinding.
But that's why I don't. I think it's like it's more of a measure of just how many hours you put in, rather than I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I don't know exactly how the points work.
I think it's both. Both. Like, you gotta have the time to put in to grind, but you also have to be good at the game, right? Like, you can't just be bad and then say like just you put in a bunch of hours and you'll just lose, right? You'll just lose to good people and you'll never get high.
And then you lose, So
it's like you actually have to be good, and then you actually have to put in a lot of time.
Yeah, and I just prefer Conquest in general. Like I don't know. I like the Conquest. I like the format. Like it's really fun.
I feel you.
But yeah, the bots are like, I wish they would maybe just make the queue time an extra 10 seconds or something,
I love them. I love the bots. I don't care. Maybe that's a hot take. I think they're hilarious to play against.
I played a bot today, okay? And I put Iron Lad in the mid lane. And Iron Lad hit Claw, and this bot blind played Rogue without priority in the mid lane on the same turn I played Iron Lad. Like soul read Rogue to steal the Claw, like on turn 4. Like it was just absurd, like Most of the time, you just beat the bots and get free cubes, but
Yeah.
once in a while, you get some bullshit like that.
There's different types of bots. There's
Mhm,
like there's bots that like there's bots that like really suck that
mhm,
basically get free wins and they never leave.
mhm,
There's bots that are like pretty bad still.
mhm,
That you can kind of tell that they're bots and usually you win the vast majority of the games against them. And
mhm.
then there's cheating bots.
Yeah.
There's I'm not kidding. This is actually like written
I
program.
know.
There's
I mean,
actually
100%
yeah.
that guy was cheating. I mean, obviously,
Or
like,
like
you're not
they
just
like
playing
if you
rogue mid, like, for no reason into a blank
yeah.
lane.
You have to kind of know. You have to kind of know, and then you have to snap right away, and then you can usually steal 2 cubes off them
Mhm,
because they'll leave every time because they know if they're gonna lose or not.
mhm,
So you have to kind of like know and snap early so you can get 2 cubes from them.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like those. But I don't like the cheating ones. I like the ones that I get to beat up on once in a while.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I also like when I lose to them or like when I'm losing to them
Mhm.
and then I just feel like just so bad about myself. Like, because sometimes you just get a horrible draw,
Yeah,
right?
you
There's like
brick.
nothing you can
Yeah.
do.
If you brick, the bot's gonna beat you for sure.
I'll be like, no, I'll know that it's a bot, and then I'll be like turn 6 or something or turn 5, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lose to this guy. Like I just have to. I'm like, I just have to leave. Like there's nothing I could have done. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, the full feels bad,
I'm
man,
like,
for
at
sure,
least
yeah.
they didn't, you know, ring me
Mhm,
for 4 cubes or something.
mhm,
But because they'll usually just put like Chavez in a random location on turn 6, that
mhm.
doesn't even mean anything. So it's fun. But yeah. Anyways, enough about that. You were talking about Conquest. How was your last week in Infinite Conquest week?
Well, I
Before
didn't
we
get
get
there
in,
last, season.
yeah,
I didn't, like, try to, last minute get there. I mean, I already used I think I had 5 tickets, saved up,
yeah,
and, I used all 5. I think I used 2 on, Mr. Negative, and, both
yeah,
got to game 3. I think my, longest run was a high Evo deck. High Evo, I got to the 4th match and lost, and then I lost, like, badly on the 1st or 2nd match on the other 2. I forget what I was playing, but I played, like, a ton of different decks. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I didn't end up getting there last season. But I was looking at it like, okay, I could, the season before got the border with uh Thanos control,
She-Nut. You got
first try.
She-Nut too.
And then the season before that got it on with Loki on the first try. So I'm like,
Yeah,
all right, I don't want to go with Loki. I don't want to go Thanos control. So let me just try to get there with something else. And yeah, I got wrecked.
yeah. That's all right. You
Yeah,
got you got one with She-Nut on your first try too. You got the Magneto border.
yeah, that was the season before the Loki season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I had 4 Infinity tickets.
Hmm.
Um, the first round I played I think a Darkhawk the Manhawk deck.
Hmm.
My first ticket. I got wrecked on the first one right away.
Oh
Round
no,
one
that's pretty
out.
good deck too.
I know, yeah. Round one out by Loki. And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh no, this is a good deck because it was doing really good. I'm like, I'm gonna try again with this one.
Hmm.
I got to round 3
Hmm.
and then I lost to Loki. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? Whatever. Because it just, Darkhawk decks get wrecked by Loki. I'm
Mhm.
like, whatever, I'm gonna cheat too. I'm gonna play Loki. And then with my last 2 tickets, I played Loki, and I got to the third round, and then I lost in a mirror, and then I got to the fourth round. Or no, I got to the final round. I beat the
Mhm.
fourth round. I got to the final round.
Yeah,
the
game 5.
screenshots.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
screenshot game 5.
I got to the final one, and then I lost
Mhm.
to a Restored Red Skull deck actually.
Mhm.
The guy was a good player.
Mhm.
So then I was like, oh man, almost, so close. But then the last day, the Tuesday, I woke up in the morning and I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I played Cherry Red Skull to Infinite. I'm like, it's a good deck. I know what I'm doing. It's pretty easy and it's pretty
Mhm.
quick. I can just snap very
Mhm.
aggressively because it's easy to know when to snap in that deck. And I'm like, I don't have any Infinity tickets. I'm like, we're not spending 1,000 gold, whatever the hell bullshit it is. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, so I ran through a gold conquest and just won
Mhm.
and got an Infinity ticket right away.
That's great.
And then, because for me it's 11 a.m.
Yeah.
On Pacific time,
Mhm.
so like everything reset at 11 a.m. And then I grinded through. I won 4. And then I ran out. I was on the last round. I even sent you the screenshots, but
Yeah.
and then I was like, bro, I'm like, no.
That's so
I'm
YOLO
like,
though. You did a 7
I
over
know, I
on
know.
yeah.
7-0 run. I had one more to. I mean, and I could have lost that, right?
Mhm,
I mean, I definitely could have lost it, but man, if I had like half an hour more or something,
mhm.
it's possible I would have got one. But I thought that was funny, and I knew, and it warns you too when you go in the Infinity Conquest. It's like, hey, I think for me it was like, hey, you have like 1 hour left, basically, or whatever,
Yeah.
like 49 minutes or whatever the hell it was.
Mhm.
It's like, and everything's gonna be shut off immediately when it's done, and then that'll be that.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not gonna let you finish your last game, basically, like
And you're
something
just
to
like,
that
YOLO,
effect.
let's go.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go, let's go. And so on the fourth one, the one guy was kind of like roping a little bit, but I
Oh,
think he probably had a bad connection because like in between it was like waiting for a player to reconnect. And I'm like,
oh, damn.
just disconnect. I'm like, just disconnect so I can play that last round.
Yeah.
And then I ended up beating him, and it was like an 8 rounder. So it was like it took so long.
Took too long. Yeah.
But then it was like 2 minutes left to thing. And I'm
Mhm,
like, oh whatever. I'll cash out
mhm.
my tokens and stuff. That's it. But yeah, so I didn't get an infinity border, but it was hilarious.
But probably
It
would
was
have got one was if you just played Shuri Red Skull, right?
I know, I should have, I should have. It's
No,
fine,
but
I don't care, I just
you don't
wanted to
want to
play.
play the boring deck the whole time,
Yeah,
right?
and I
Yeah.
only did the Infinity Conquest the night before, like, the
Mhm.
Monday is
Yeah.
I didn't play before any other time in the week, like,
Mhm.
because I just like I said, I just don't play Conquest. I'm like, "Ah, I have these 4 tickets, I might as well just play them," you know?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just, like, dedicated that night to doing it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Almost got it, but I don't know, it was fun, it was fun. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, meta was pretty fun last season, so I'm not. Yeah,
It was good.
Post Elsa nerf, it was a good time.
Yeah, and it was like, after the last patch, it was like there was no Mobius, so it was like,
Mhm.
it was amazing.
Yeah,
It was like just you could play whatever the hell you wanted,
play
like
all the
Mr.
BS.
Negative,
Yeah.
Ravona, it was all open season. It was so much fun.
All right, you're saying
Good.
you could play Ravona, you could play everything.
Yeah, it was open season. I loved it.
Mhm.
But yeah, what have you so Miss Marvel came out.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Well, I tried her in the Dark Hawk, like just a Dark Hawk list, and I mean she's great in that. That's kind of what
Yeah.
everybody thought. I've messed around with some onslaught BS. You throw the onslaught, you throw Mr. Fantastic. You could Cosmo if you're scared of the Rogue or Enchantress, right? All in the mid lane, of course. Claws, another one, and then you drop the onslaught on top. All the power goes everywhere. You got 60 in the middle, like 20 in the other two lanes. It's really fun, and
Yeah.
obviously like just kind of telegraph, like hella tribunal type telegraphed.
Yeah.
So like it's pretty cheesy, and it works a good amount of the time. My buddy Kevin was playing. He has Howard the Duck and Echo both.
Oh, it's great.
Echo's not ongoing though, but Howard the Duck and Iron Lad I think is a really really interesting spectrum list. I mean, we've talked about this before. I do think like the optimal spectrum list is with Howard and Iron Lad. You
Yeah.
just have all ongoing, and then because it's just hard to get cheap one cost ongoing cards that actually do something. The other ones are like Quinjet Ghost, right? They like, literally don't
Yeah.
do anything. So uh,
That's true.
uh, he said he won 15 games in a row with that deck, but yeah, he went 15 in a row. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he's going crazy. He's playing Omega Red in his too,
That's
Mystique.
great.
So like just
Ju
extreme like ceiling.
just all
Uh,
in, huh?
yeah, all crazy all in. I was talking to him
That's
today.
great.
He's like, "Yeah, I lost a couple to Elias, lost a couple to Rogue, and then Chancellor's." I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course." So I actually just didn't see those counters for 15 games.
Yeah.
He's
That's
not
great.
running Cosmo either. But,
Oh, it's great when you go on a run
yeah.
like that. Yeah, when
Oh,
you just
and
have a
Magic.
greedy
He
greedy
plays Magic in his too, so it's
oh,
7
it's
turns.
great. Oh, dude, greedy lists are just really fun sometimes, though.
Yeah, but my favorite list, my favorite build, I just brewed it today, and I mean it is the sauce. And I played for about an hour with it and went up like 60 cubes, and it was a
Here, I have
Guardians of the Galaxy kind of deck.
it.
Um, so I was looking at the old Guardians decks because
This
they
is it,
just
right? The one that you just sent me? I
yeah
built
yeah
it. Yeah,
they
good, good.
just buffed Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
So I thought, kind of like where else would you run Jessica Jones other than like throwing her on a storm lane, right? So I felt like this was the most natural fit for her, and she feels fantastic in here, like just easy 9 power. And then in those decks, I was looking at some lists from a month ago because I didn't play that deck at all a month ago when it was kind of floating around in the meta. The one with Drax and They're playing
Yeah.
Medusa and Drax. Um, I just took all that nonsense, all those bad
Yeah.
cards, take the
W's
bad
list.
cards out of the deck. And I like Medusa, don't get me wrong. I'm a Cerebro 5 gamer,
Yeah.
but we got Goose now. So you got a Storm lane and you got a Goose lane, and then you're playing, and then now we have Miss Marvel who can reach both lanes, even though she's 4 power. So 4 power, she reaches the Goose lane. 4 power, she reaches the Storm lane, even though you can't play cards there. Obviously,
Yeah.
got Big Daddy Eliath, Fart Cloud, just crushing dreams and crushing souls. He's like, obviously, this is the main win condition of the deck. You have Storm and Eliath, like you're looking pretty good, and
Yeah.
just a million ways to reach. Like Doctor Doom reaches the Goose lane, Claw reaches the Goose lane.
Why don't we say the list? Why don't we say the list for the
Yeah,
listeners? So,
mhm.
go ahead. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, you could say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is no big deal. Is Marvel Spice.
Hmm.
We got Nebula, Goose, Jeff, Mister Fantastic, Storm, Jessica Jones, Miss Marvel, Iron Lad, Claw, Gamora, Eliath, Doctor Doom.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's a beauty, and I don't know why I find lists like this really fun. Maybe I'm just like a sadistic, like I don't know, like it feels fun to just like start locking down lanes and just watching people squirm. And these Loki players, they're trying to play all these cards, like you don't get to play cards like against this deck, so
Yeah.
we don't do that here, and also their Miss Marvel gets messed up if they steal it from you. Theirs doesn't work and yours does, and it's great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it looks like a fun list. Maybe I will try it.
Hmm.
I've been yeah, you've been climbing pretty hard with this, huh?
Hmm.
I've been
I think I'm gonna take it straight to infinite. Give me a couple days.
I,
We'll be infinite with Guardians, baby.
that's I haven't even really I have yeah, W is the one who had the Guardians list last time, and
Mhm,
he changed his W list. I think he took out Drax and put in Miss Marvel and kept it the same, and
mhm.
I think he just posted he made Infinite with it.
Oh,
Um
okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's good to hear.
yeah, he does. He's been brewing these even since last month.
It's
It was
a
his list.
natural fit in this list. But
Yeah. Um, so I haven't even really played that much Miss Marvel, honestly. I've just been preparing my body for Annihilus, and I've only played junk, and I'm at what I'm at. I'm at rank 84 so far. I only started playing yesterday. I haven't even played that much.
yeah.
Maybe I'll play a little bit more tonight, but
Mhm,
um, yeah, I've just played a junk deck. So my junk deck, I think KX4N, I think is his name. He's a high level, high infinite player. He's like, I just played junk to infinite. He's like, it's good. I'm like, yes, I'm just gonna play junk. It just inspired me. So this list is the Hood, Nico, Black Widow, Carnage, Shadow King, Viper, Green Goblin, Debris, Werewolf, Shang-Chi, Spider Woman, Eliath. Um, it's such a fun deck. I mean, Nico, you either destroy like the Hood or Black Widow or something, get two
mhm,
cards. You can change any one of these cards into a demon. Like you
mhm,
can Viper your Hood over, and then the Viper becomes a demon. Or
mhm,
any one of Nico's abilities basically are good.
mhm.
Green Goblin just offers a lot of disruption, which is such a good card right now. Carnage eats the rocks, eats the Hood, eats any of the bullshit your opponents try and send over. Debris is just really good disruption.
Mhm.
Werewolf is just an insane card in this
Yeah.
deck. And even if you have like a lane where like you're losing, you could just play Eliath on that lane and Werewolf like on the last turn, and like
Mhm,
Werewolf will run over and you could win that lane, if you
mhm.
have something else filled up. Shang-Chi is obviously really good all the time, just for big threats. And then Spider Woman's actually been incredible in this list
Yeah.
because you're really just like you're filling up their lanes, and then she gets like she's a 512 a lot of the time. She's like almost always a 511. Like you're almost always hitting three things
Mhm.
by turn five, and a lot of times you're hitting four things, and it's fun clogging up all their lanes, and there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, Spider Woman's a classic junk card.
Yeah.
All those like old, I think Dexter was playing, or Snapster, whatever. He was playing all
Mm,
those Sentry junk lists.
yeah.
He was like playing those hard, and he always had Spider Woman in there. She seems like really crazy high impact on a list like that for sure.
She is good. A lot of people have Doctor Doom too,
Mhm.
or Doctor Octopus.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that makes
in these
sense.
kind of lists, so he's kind of good. So this list is the one I've been running, and I have just been playing it. I think I have like a 68% win rate so far with it.
Oh nice.
You
Yeah,
know that
all on reveal cards. All they
which
all
yeah,
yeah, all proc the wolf, which is pretty sick.
which translates to 40% if you get rid of the bots. So
Still counts.
Um, this is the list I have cooking so far. Galactus junk for when Annihilus comes out.
It's so funny.
Tell me
Yeah.
what you think. I have
Yeah,
the Hood.
I think you need the Ghost. I think you need him,
Yeah,
right?
the
Yeah.
Hood, Ghost, Black Widow, Carnage, Viper, Green Goblin, Debris, Werewolf by Night, Sentry, Galactus, Chavez,
So
and then
you're going
Annihilus.
full on, like, full junk because this is basically if you don't get
Yeah.
an Nihilus, you have to retreat, basically, is what I'm seeing here, right?
No,
Because you have a
You
debris,
can
like, you
Carnage the
can't.
Sentry thing.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Well, I can still play Sentry, you still have Demons, Carnage, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Your
And still have
Galactus is,
you
like,
still have
dead,
Werewolf.
though. Your Galactus is, like,
Yeah,
super dead,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he's just an alternate win condition, he's not the only one. He's
Yeah,
the most fun one
yeah,
that
yeah.
when you get him off, you just laugh and you just,
I
you
love it. I love this.
your enemy's tears are fodder for your
Mhm,
smiles, but yeah, I think this would be fun. I think the only thing that might screw you over is see, Ghost, I think, might be a double-edged sword in this because if you want to get Galactus off on the last turn, if they Annihilus on turn 6
mhm.
and you're going second, you're screwed if you try and Galactus.
Well, debris I could see debris being a double-edged sword too, oh, no, if it doesn't send it, it kills it, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so if their side's already clogged, it'll just kill your rocks.
yeah,
Okay, so never mind. Debris will be great then. Yeah, then,
yeah.
you got reasons why.
Ghost might not even be good in this list, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's Ghost is purely for the we both play Annihilus on 5, which is probably gonna
Yeah,
happen a lot when the card comes out, right?
yeah. Yeah. Just if
Yours has to go second, or else you're fucked.
yeah, if you save for so then you're screwed kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
But I guess not really if they're clogged. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, maybe not. Maybe Annihilus will just kill everything they send over anyway, right?
No, because if your lane's
Oh
empty
no,
and their
you go
lane's
first,
full,
and then yeah, they send it all back, right? So yeah,
yeah.
I mean that's a rough. Yeah.
My worry is I play Annihilus on 5 and they save theirs for turn 6
Mhm.
and I try and Galactus and they Annihilus, but I have Ghost on the board.
Mm.
So their Annihilus goes off first and cucks my Galactus.
Galactus does nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
is anyone gonna play, especially on ladders? Are they gonna play Annihilus on 6? Because that's like I don't think anyone's doing
I don't know.
that.
Some people might, man. Some people might save it for the
Yeah,
end. I don't know.
yeah, we'll see.
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
I don't know. It depends how much Sentry you see. If you see Sentry, then you could be like, ah, man, they might send that -10 over on the last turn.
6'5" Galactus is very big brain. Like you got to get creative to get this guy to work these days.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be easy, but I'd say it's worth a shot with this. I wouldn't change
I don't know.
this list. I think
I think this will be hilarious. This will be a
yeah,
fun list.
yeah.
I'm just doing it for fun. I don't know if it's gonna be
Mhm.
good. It's probably gonna be crap,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I think other decks too that I've seen floating around that are good for Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel Hawk. Dark Hawk, Miss Marvelous seem to be good. Nebula, Korg, Black Widow, Zabu, Mr. Fantastic, Cosmo, Rockslide, Dark Hawk. Super Scrawl is a decent tech card if
Mhm.
everyone's playing Miss Marvel and that kind of stuff. Then you have Miss Marvel as well in here, Iron Lad and Onslaught. Um, this seems to be good. I haven't played it. Like I said, I've just been being a filthy junk player.
Yeah, I
Because
was gonna say.
personally,
Oh,
oh,
sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say personally, I just don't like mirror matches. They kind of bother me. It just
Mhm.
makes it not fun. It's like, oh, who draws the good stuff first? And I get them, but it's fine. But like that's why I've been choosing to play junk, and I'll play Miss Marvel in a couple days probably
Yeah, I was gonna
when
say
once it died down.
speaking of junk, a list like this is the pure Darkhawk version. You could go kind of a hybrid with Ravona and Zabu, and add the goblins in there, right?
Yeah,
And like the goblins are like really good with werewolf too. Like you'd be running werewolf and something like that. Um, you know, goblin goes over, makes room for werewolf, and gets discounted by Ravona. And then also just really easy to resolve Miss Marvel in decks like that. Or you could go just pure Ravona junk without Darkhawk or anything, and also with Miss Marvel. So like, there's kind
yeah.
of three. It's like a hybrid Darkhawk version and just pure junk version. I mean, they use all the same cards, or a lot of the similar cards anyway. But yeah, I think they're all like really interesting, choices anyway.
Yeah, no, and then Darkhawk's a fun card to play. I mean, these
Mhm.
kind of decks are kind of fun to play too. Just a nice mid-range decks where you kind of feel like you always have a chance. Like these Darkhawk lists, like You almost the reason why I think they're a nice list is like they don't do anything wild and crazy most of the
Mhm.
time,
Yeah.
but like you always feel like you're in the game. You always feel like you have a chance to win, which is kind of cool.
Mhm.
It's not like like if you're playing a Halo list or something, like then you're like, oh man, like you're screwed, right? If you don't draw your stuff,
Yeah, and even now
like
with new Mobius and I don't know how many people are gonna play it at 3, but you still get your first discounted card anyway with Zabu. So
yeah,
like say you play Zabu and then Iron Lad or Darkhawk or something, like they have to play the Mobius on the same turn. So at least you still get a little bit of value from your Zabu. So I, I,
yeah,
I wouldn't worry too much about the Mobius thing anyway.
yeah. At least you get some sort of value now. It's like
Yeah.
there's a three. We'll talk about it, but
Mhm.
um, yeah. And then I guess you could play Loki too. I haven't played any this season. I played like a few, like I said, my one Infinite Conquest run with it last week. So like I'm just whatever. I don't need to. I'm not a high Infinite player. I don't need to play Loki
Mhm.
all the time. It is fun though once in a while. And then people I see Miss Marvel Sandman lists. I
Yeah,
don't have.
Cozy made one. He's a menace.
Oh yeah,
That's
Dara was
why.
doing it.
If you're
Dara
seeing it,
went.
it's because Cozy made one.
Yeah, he made one. Yeah, Dara went on the ladder first day. He was playing only Sandman. Made it to
Oh
Infinite
god.
with that. So yeah, I played actually. I just beat a Sandman today with my junk deck somehow.
Oh yeah. Well, the Guardians list I showed you like absolutely body bags the Sandman. Like,
Yeah,
because I'm just like playing Claw like unironically,
yeah, that's
like,
great.
what are they gonna do? They can't do anything.
Yeah,
And Doctor Doom, like, and I'm gonna be winning with priority because you played a 5/4 Sandman,
yeah,
And I played Claw and you played Sam, whatever, Or I played Miss
yeah,
Marvel on 4, you play Sandman. I have 15
yeah,
power, you get 4. GG.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, it's insane. Oh, and
Um,
Jeff is like really good against it too, obviously.
yeah, Jeff's great.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's kind of what we've been doing this past few days and past
Mhm.
week, I guess. Any more thoughts on the meta before we run into the spicy OTA changes?
I think Loki's still the best deck. Unfortunately, I
Yeah,
don't care that much now because like I said, we're doing the infinite, going to infinite. There's some bots in there. I see very little Loki. I mean, you were saying that too to me in chat.
yeah, I
Maybe
see
one
it
in
done.
every 10 games for me is a Loki player, and I don't mind playing Loki 1 in 10 games.
Yeah, me
um,
too.
and there's no infinite conquest right now, and who knows what the meta is going to look like in 3 weeks when infinite conquest opens up. So I'm not worried about like gold conquest, meta or anything like that. You just got to win 3 games. Just get good, win 3 games. So, we could all do it. So I will just
Yeah,
believe in yourself.
that's it, huh? Good. Yeah, Loki probably still is the best deck. We'll see after the changes today.
Yeah.
With Mobius coming back, if it is, but I think the meta's in a good place. I was happy with it last week.
Mhm.
Um, I was well, I mean, we'll just get into the OTAs and we'll talk about it now. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. Yeah, and we'll go through everything that they said. Do you want to go through what they said first, or do you want to go through the card changes first? What do you want
Whatever's
to
in
do?
order. I mean, yeah. Start
Okay.
at the top, I guess.
So
Yeah.
I'll start at the top and
Mhm.
I'll read because this is like they kind of explain themselves. I know people were mad about everything. They thought they were, they had their tinfoil hats on, thinking they're changing for bundles and stuff like that. Um,
Oh, speaking
but
on that, I will say, like, that She-Hulk bundle doesn't look very good.
what?
If we want to go full tinfoil hat, I mean, there's some merit to it. Like, have you seen the She-Hulk bundle?
Yeah, I didn't buy it.
I'm not
But
gonna
people
buy it either. I think it
people
sucks for
but people
value.
yeah, people were saying this was an argument last week or
Yeah.
a week and a half ago because Glenn said, "Oh, changes to come on the She-Hulk bundle," and then people were like, "Oh, they're nerfing Mobius
Mhm.
to an on reveal because they have the She-Hulk bundle coming up."
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a reach as well, when it came up last week. But
Yeah.
now that, the dust has settled a little bit and I'm looking at it, and now that we have these OTA changes and She-Hulk's on there.
Well,
Um,
yeah, they said they were gonna do She-Hulk though.
well, hey, I don't pay attention. I'm just
Yeah.
reacting to the news as it comes out. You know.
Yeah. Well, no, they
uh,
they specifically said that they like to do buffs
Mhm.
when bundles come out. They like to time their buffs with bundles
Yes.
because that will sell more stuff.
Mhm.
But Glenn specifically said they do not do nerfs to other cards because of bundles. Like they
Right.
didn't nerf Mobius just because they were gonna sell a She-Hulk bundle.
Mm.
And so now that you could play She-Hulk because Mobius got nerfed,
Right.
they don't do that.
Mhm.
But they will time like Nick Fury, his
Yeah.
show just came out. They waited on his buff for months.
Yeah.
They've said that, which I think is fine, whatever.
And Black
Um,
Widow bundle is out right there too right now.
yeah, that's just the Peach Momoko. Does Black Widow have something going on now?
Well, they just buffed her. They just put the huge buff to Black Widow. I mean, that's why you're seeing her everywhere now. That's because
Oh yeah,
they put
but
the.
that's a while ago though.
It wasn't that long. It was like 3 weeks ago. It was like
Yeah,
Widow
yeah,
bite to -1,
that's true.
and they
Yeah,
decide on the bundles like ahead of time. Like they have to have all this artwork in and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm sure around the time they decided to
yeah.
buff Black Widow, they probably made that bundle
Yeah,
as well.
which I think is fine. Like, if you're gonna like
Yeah.
tweak a card a little bit, to get like Squirrel Girl, they made her a 1/2, right?
Yep.
Right before
Yep.
the zombie bundle. Like, who cares?
Mhm.
That's fine. It's not.
Mhm.
It's changes they have that in the pipeline that they've had ready for months, and
Mhm.
they're gonna time it for a bundle. I don't care. Let them
Yeah.
make money. Let them do that. It's not gonna change the meta that much. Do I see Squirrel Girl? No. So like, I don't really
Mhm.
give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
as long as like what they say, and we be honest about like if they're not nerfing cards to
Mhm.
sell bundles, then that's like or like Mobius bundle comes out, everyone buys it, then they nuke him into the ground.
Mhm.
As long as they're not doing stuff like that
Yeah.
all the time, then that's fine. And they will read this because they explain that they're like, listen, we had the Mobius change locked in like October 2nd or something like that. And then
Yeah.
3 weeks later, like it came out, like because they have to have it locked in so early.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like I don't know, I don't believe the tinfoil hat stuff. I think it's stupid, honestly. Um, but yeah, like they're a company, they have to make money, but I don't think they're trying to make money on the back of an unbalanced game. I really do think that they're trying to make the game as balanced and as fun as possible, and also make money too.
I think they are with the season pass cards, but like I said, we did talk about it on the last pod. I think those are
Yeah,
straight up money grab, pay to win bullshit.
yeah,
Loki release, Elsa release, Zabu release, Darkhawk, or sorry, Zabu Silver Surfer. Straight up just money grab, in my opinion.
yeah,
Like clearly broken cards.
yeah,
Like they know they obviously know these cards are broken. They know they're play testing because we see we're like data mining, and then they like take power off, but they don't take a power off when it's a season pass card. They just let it be completely busted. So
yeah. How was Nimrod? That was a pretty broken one too, right?
well, hey, should have made it like Dakin.
Phe Phoenix Force, that was pretty broken when it came out. Ghost Spider as a 2/3, that was a
Mhm.
broken season. I mean, no, they have shit season pass cards too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a shill for Second Dinner. I'm not getting anything for them, but like, I just want to
Mhm.
be fair. Like
Mhm.
the last two, yeah, they've had probably too many that were very busted. I mean,
Mhm.
Zabu and Surfer, they did change. They never had OTAs back then, and
Mhm.
they did change them when they first could.
Yeah.
Um, so that's good. I mean, Surfer went on for a month, but Zabu they changed it the next patch that they could. And then Loki, Loki, I think they fucked up on because they tried to change like the collector and other stuff, but like no, it was just like way too broken.
Yeah,
I mean,
Elsa too, yeah.
Elsa is broken, but they balanced it right away. Same like mid
Mhm.
season pass. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, say what you want, that'll lose the money by doing that.
Mhm.
But
I would lose it won't lose the money if we already bought the season pass. The Elsa money is in their pockets already.
some people still buy like in the last week. There's a lot of people that do that. They
Mm,
wait.
mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Mm.
No, dude.
Well, still, anyways, even if you don't get a card, that's the best $10 you could spend in Marvel Snap.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you don't even get a card. So like,
I'm
yeah,
ripping that
yes,
every season. I'm ripping that season pass
yeah,
all
yeah.
day.
Like, is this game pay to win? Yes, the
Yeah.
pay to win is $10 a month, I think,
Yeah.
and that's it. You can have competitive decks for $10 a month,
Mhm.
which I think is more than you can say about probably any other major card game.
Yeah.
You know, that's very very popular. But I don't know. I don't think it's that much to ask,
Mhm.
personally. But yeah, like Miss Marvel's not completely busted, right? So they're doing all right.
Yeah, I think
I
she's
think,
a good
and
one.
And they say in here too. We'll read it. I'll read it, but they say in here too that they fucked up and that they're gonna try and do better with Loki and Elsa, which clearly they were busted. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I just
I
want
don't
to say for the
disagree with
record,
that.
I like the design of Miss Marvel, the December one and the January card. All the next three are like this one, and the next two are all like I think like well designed cards. I mean,
Yeah,
like Loki and Elsa, you read it for take you 2 seconds to realize they're completely broken. You know,
yeah.
whereas
I
at least
mean,
with, yeah.
I don't think people thought Loki was gonna be that this broken though.
Oh,
There
three
was a lot
five.
of
We
people
talked about it on this pod. It was like why is it a 3/5? Like it's crazy. You know.
that too. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think there were many people that thought it was gonna like
Hmm.
warp the entire meta and make only Loki the best deck.
Hmm.
That's it. Period.
Yeah.
It just shits
For
on
sure.
everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Mhm.
um, so here I'll read this and then we can talk about this because I think this is important before we get into to at least say this once, and have a discussion about this and see if we think their second dinner is being honest and fair. So they say balancing act. We've received a lot of questions around the unusually high number of balance revisions to new cards over the last couple of months. It's not our intent to change new cards this often. Unfortunately, a variety of related issues combine to impact multiple cards. And stop me if you want to make a comment anytime, by the way.
Mhm.
Some of these challenges included unusually and unexpectedly shortened development cycles, multiple complex cards requiring additional time, playtesting concurrent seasons in isolation for too long, our internal metagame diverging from live. These aren't excuses. We just want you to know we're investigating our process and taking steps to improve. Some of the changes we've made.
Whoa,
Season
wait
does
a second. Wait a second.
what?
Did they just take a shot at their devs? They're saying they're shit at the game. Like that's what I got from that last bullet point. They're like, yeah, our devs like suck at Marvel Snap.
So no, so I think what they're saying is the I think they said this on someone's
They're doing their
podcast.
best, guys. Glenn, they're doing their
Yeah,
best,
yeah.
right? Give them a
No,
break.
no.
Right? Come on, they're not
Glenn or
slutty like us.
no, no. Glenn or one of the other devs were on a podcast. I forget when. It was recent, and I think they said that within 1 hour of dropping a card, they
Mhm.
have more data than their internal team playtesting for over a month.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like
Okay.
it's and sometimes they're like, hey, like there's just combinations we didn't think of as an
Yeah,
internal team that come up within like the first day, and we're like, and they're like, shit, we didn't think about this.
yeah,
It's broken, we're screwed, and it's like, oh crap, and it's not,
yeah,
they do what they can,
yeah.
right? So yes, this is what this, and they've mentioned this. Glenn said this
Mhm,
too. He's like, listen, like we didn't. There's some of these combos we don't think about, and he's like, we have more data within the first hour of
mhm,
dropping a card than we
mhm.
do on our team within a month. So like,
Yeah,
because it's millions of people playing, right?
yeah. It's,
Um,
okay, so it's more. There's millions of people playing. It's not like a shot at the team's
yeah, yeah, no, and
bad play
he
testing
said that.
practice.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
Glenn himself said that.
Okay.
Um, so
Excellent.
these are some of the changes they've made. Anyway,
Mhm,
season design starts 4 weeks earlier. Sure. Season pass cards are now going to receive about double their previous play testing
mhm,
because they want to make sure they don't have Loki and Elsa breaking the game.
mhm,
Play testing methodology, keeping seasons more mixed. Additional investment in personnel and resources for balance work. So this is good. So they basically said they're gonna play test or the season pass cards at least double the time, and they're hiring more people to do balance and stuff.
Well, I love
So
that. That's great to hear. Yeah.
so they're saying like, hey guys, we know like we fucked. To me, this is what they're saying.
Mhm,
To some people, they might be like, oh, they're just backpedaling and blah blah
mhm,
blah. Fine. To me, I don't care what it is. To me, this reads, hey, we've listened to the feedback. We fucked up. This is what we're doing. We're hiring more people. We're gonna play test things double. We don't
mhm,
want this to happen again. We want it to be good experience. We're actively doing these things.
mhm,
So I think it's good. And then they say, we're going to miss high and low. We're going to have bad ideas that look good for the first 1,000 hours, but our balanced goals remain keeping the game fun, the metagame fresh, and the cards you acquire enjoyable additions to your collection.
mhm,
So now they explain they have a patches versus OTA. So they say, we've talked about this in other venues, but because it's important to this topic, let's review our live balance methodology, which I think is important to know for everyone. The design team updates the game in two ways through scheduled patch changes, which happen approximately every 4 weeks on a Tuesday, which is the patch, right? And through OTA over the air changes, which happen every 2 weeks on Thursdays. For many of you, they probably look and feel fairly similar. For us, they're totally different work. The most obvious difference in their content is in their content. Our OTA adjustments are restricted to changing numbers on the cards, cost, power, the scale of the ability. If we want to change a card more dramatically, that requires a patch. The patches are different kinds of update. So OTAs, for everyone who doesn't know, obviously they can change the number. So like let's do Forge for example. Forge used to be what, a 2-1 or a 2-2 or
2-1.
something.
Yeah,
A
2-1.
2-1 that said give a +3,
Yeah.
and now he's a 1-1
No,
that
1-2.
says a
1-2, I
1-2
think.
that says give +2.
Yeah.
Anyways, they can
Oh no,
change the
1-1. He's a 1-1. You're right. Yeah,
yeah,
1-1.
they can
Good call.
change the cost of the card, they can change the power of the card, and they can change like the value on the text because they can change numbers in OTAs,
Mhm.
which is different now. But anyways, they're focused
Yeah, most
on
people know
only
that. We could probably skip
yeah,
that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Those are rally.
take and then so the patches are different. They can just change the whole text.
Mhm.
Take the patch released on October 31st. Because a patch involves several changes and feature additions, the October 31st is the Mobius nuke into the ground patch.
Mhm.
It needs more time between locking changes and releasing them. That means design locked our patch adjustments in around October 2nd. So when did Mobius come out?
That's the question.
September,
Yeah.
last week of September, right?
Yeah.
So a week after,
The third week. I think it was the third week.
no, he was the fourth
Okay,
because it was
I thought
Loki.
Ravona was 2, then Mobius, then
No,
like
Eliath. It was Loki, Eliath, Ravona, Mobius.
okay, there wasn't like a Black Knight or something. That was the next season.
Black Knight. Yeah, that was October.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
So he was the last week of September.
Mhm.
And then a week into it, they're like, shit, this card's everywhere. We have to nerf him. He's fucking everything up.
Mhm.
So they locked in this change, this nuke to Mobius. They locked in on October 2nd
Mhm.
with notes written the following week. They said, however, OTA updates only require about a week to build. So the October 31st patch was final before the October 12th and October 26th OTAs were even identified. Patch changes are in a difficult position. When we feel a big change may be warranted, we know the game could look very different by the time it's actually live, which is kind of what we saw with Mobius, right?
Mhm.
For that reason, we're often careful making big nerfs with patches. Then they say, let's talk about Mobius. The October 31st patch did
Well,
include a
hold
big
on.
nerf.
I'll
Yeah,
interrupt there for a second.
yeah, yeah.
Just kind of reiterate what we're saying on the last pod. I mean, this all sounds great and everything, but it all comes back to if you're gonna release cards like um Loki, Elsa, and Eliath into the game, then this problem will continue to persist. They still need to do a month in advance to do a patch, and you release a card like Eliath at 6/5 into the game, he's immediately going to be a problem. Loki's immediately going to be a problem. Elsa's immediately going to be a problem. So like that's what I'm saying. Like if they're going to like be releasing broken cards, then this problem will never go away. But I will say I do really like that say it said, "Hey, we're going to play test them a lot more. We're going to do more resources to play testing." And just from the data mines, the December, even I would say November, December, and January cards all look really good. Like nothing in there except like maybe Firestar. Like I don't know, like jumps out at me as like, oh my god, like this is gonna break the game when it comes out. You know what I mean? So, as long as they don't do that, then if they keep doing that, then all this is going to be meaningless. It's just going to happen again. You know?
Yeah. Um, I think a lot of it will be mitigated too is now they can change card text in OTAs.
Mhm.
So they can do like the
Well, that's
patch
a big
changes
deal.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, look at Mobius is what they just did.
yeah,
He
but
was an on reveal. They
I thought
just made
maybe
him
they could
ongoing.
revert it because it was already in the system or something. No,
Nope, they
okay.
said they have the functionality to do it
Oh,
now.
well, that's good.
They're gonna try not to, but they
Mhm.
said they have it.
Yeah.
So they say let's talk about Mobius.
Mhm.
The October 31st patch did include a big nerf. It radically changed the functionality of Mobius and Mobius, a relatively new card. If we knew patches risk being obsolete, why make such a huge change? Well, the data on our side was scary. We expected Mobius to have an impact on the metagame and to change the card choices for players in top decks. We also knew we couldn't predict exactly what would happen, as he's a generally playable card. What we didn't expect was how exactly Series 4 Mobius would affect players completing Series 2 or moving through Series 3. This is actually really good insight from KM Best. He talked about this on his most recent pod. He's like, I think they nuked Mobius because he was destroying the Series 2 and Series 3 experience because all those decks rely on like Sarah and stuff like that. Um,
And Death and She-Hulk and Swarm.
yeah,
I would say those three. Those are all like huge
yeah.
meta. Before you get to the Series 4 pay to win stuff.
Yeah, and he's like,
That's
you
like
got to
one of the
think of
meta
those
things.
players, which is probably the majority of players, are just
Yeah,
getting completely can't even play the game because of Mobius because
yeah,
they don't have all the other cards.
hmm
So like, this is and they actually address it here. So like, shout out to Cam Best for actually like when he said that, I was like, you know what, that's probably right.
yeah,
Um, and he said many exciting strategies players gain access to there basically disappeared overnight.
yeah,
We hadn't accurately evaluated how commonplace Mobius might become, and there was still a bundle on its way. So they expected more Mobius. They're like, there was a shit ton of Mobius. It
mhm,
was cucking all the Series 2 and Series 3 players, and there was a bundle on the way. So like there's gonna be even more. So
yeah,
then that's why at the beginning they're like, oh shit, we gotta nuke this card. So this is their thought process. Like you kind of see where they're coming from, I guess. We
yeah,
don't have the data, but so if you're tracking dates, we only had a few days to react to this discovery. As Mobius launched on September 26th, we
mhm,
had to make a call, wait and change his numbers via OTA, or book a patch change. At the time, we worried we had grossly misunderstood his long term impact and didn't want to risk waiting for the next patch if an OTA was insufficient. So they basically said that they thought that even if they OTA'd him, he still would have been ridiculous, and
mhm,
they didn't want to risk that of like the new players getting cucked the entire game.
mhm.
My I'm paraphrasing and I'm adding my thoughts too. They said we made a reactionary nerf proportionate to the concern. They were very concerned because they nuked. In hindsight, that was the wrong call. Mobius's metrics calmed down, the metagame stabilized, and the play rates of many affected cards and decks improved. Which is true because like people were starting to play Zabu a little bit. People were playing Death again back into destroy decks. So like
Mhm.
it did improve. So while Mobius was still overperforming, it became clear an OTA would have likely worked, but the ship had sailed. We also inadvertently generated more concern with the passage from the patch notes. Yeah, this is the one that pissed everyone off, basically.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not going to read it, but it basically reads like it seems like they wanted to they were planning on nerfing it before releasing it
They
is
released
what
it broken on purpose, is what this says, and they're admitting that,
yeah,
yeah, we released a
yeah,
broken card on purpose that you have to pay for. That's what
yeah.
this says, and then they made a statement stating that, like,
Yeah.
projecting that out to the world, like, "Yeah, you fuckers, yeah, spend money, go open your spotlight. We know this card's broken, and we know we're gonna nerf it
Yeah.
very soon."
Um, so they said this was carelessly written and fails to convey our intent, which was that we knew we needed to protect viable cost reduction strategies in Snap if it turned out Mobius was too much. On that count, we'll just apologize and expressly say that one, we don't launch cards with a nerf planned after a period of time passes,
Mhm.
and two, we don't nerf cards based on upcoming bundles. I
That
agree
one
with number
I just don't believe them
two.
because I mean, they literally said that they did that,
Yeah. I agree with number 2.
Yeah, one just sounds like bullshit, like, they're just lying, like, 'cause they just said
Yeah.
that they did that? Why would you say it then if you don't do that? You literally
Well,
said
they
that you
said
did it.
they're carelessly.
Yeah.
I think someone just wrote it
Mhm.
stupidly, honestly. I bet they don't. This is why I'm happy they're investing more resources into balance and playtesting people,
Mhm.
because like maybe I do believe them in number 1, but like come on, like Elsa, a 2/2 that gives +3,
It's basically,
you just
an average 211, you know?
you just need 2 to
Yeah,
make it a
two
plus a 2/8.
a two
Like
eight.
come
Yeah.
on.
That's what I mean,
Like
I
you
think
just need it 1 to make it a 2/5.
I think it's
Like
a 211 on an average game? And if she really pops off, she can go up to, like, 217, but just
yeah.
her baseline is, like, 211?
Yeah,
So
and maybe when they play tested it, they didn't think of decks that would like break her and stuff. I don't know. Who knows? But like,
But
whatever.
we know they did because they nerfed Kitty right before she came out. Like, they nuked Kitty. So they knew
Yeah,
people were gonna be spamming Kitty Pride and
yeah,
on their Angela. Kitty Angela was already everywhere, and they preemptively nerfed Kitty Pride. So they knew,
yeah,
and they did it anyway.
yeah. Maybe they thought that was enough. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Just
clearly
like
they did,
they
right?
also
Like
thought collector to 0 was enough as well.
that was the dumbest fucking
It's
change.
the same as the kitty one, right? It's like,
Stupid. The funniest part about the collector change, the
mhm,
funniest part, the most ironic change,
mhm.
is that Loki decks degenerated so much that collector was cut from all the top
Yeah.
lists. So like
Just run the other
it's just
broken cards.
yeah. It's just like Elsa. Like, it was great. I believe number two though, we don't nerf cards based on upcoming bundles. I don't think they do that.
No,
I
I
don't
don't think
think
I don't
they
think they
nerf
do either. I
cards
agree. Yeah.
for bundles. They've had so many goddamn bundles in this game.
Mhm,
They do not balance change cards around bundles. I will
mhm.
die on that hill. I don't care what anyone says. They don't fucking do that.
Well, we know they buff them. They
Yeah,
buff
yeah,
them for
buffing.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They'll give like a buff. They don't make them broken for bundles though. Like
No, just
except for
little touch up, little extra
yeah,
power here and
unless it's
there.
the season pass.
Yeah.
But like for a bundle, like a gold or cash bundle, they don't make them broken.
Mhm,
They only pay to win broken stuff as season pass cards
mhm.
once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they say to be clear, and this is where me and you kind of I think this paragraph. I think me and you had a little bit of different opinions on when we talked about it last.
Mhm,
So to be clear, we will launch cards we think we might need to nerf because game balance is imprecise. We'd rather do that than launch cards we believe will need a buff because the risk is worth ensuring the new cards are meaningful additions to the game. But in those cases, we've always made an earnest and responsible effort to hit a mark we hope can land and stick, and we're going to work harder on that. So
mhm,
this is out where I like that I'd rather them release cards that are a little more broken than are crap because then at least I can play with them and
mhm.
then expect them to be nerfed rather than release Nimrod, Ghost Spider, Phoenix Force. When they release them, it's like, okay, I bought this card and I just can't play them. What the hell? I'd rather them be broken. I would not rather them be like broken, but I'd rather them be like a little bit stronger and need a little bit of a nerf than to be weak and then I don't play with them. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
That's
and
my
like
feeling. That's my
yeah,
feeling. I know
that's
you
how you
you feel a
felt,
little bit
and
different.
you're not alone in that feeling. And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't totally agree with that. I was
Mhm.
listening to Dex and Dara this morning, and Dara agrees with you. He's the same way.
Oh yeah.
You prefer it if they released them a little bit overtuned and then nerfed
Yeah.
them later. It's just if there wasn't OTAs every week, I would agree with you too. I would say yeah, like because if there's going to be an OTA, say there's going to be a balance change every 2 or 3 months, which is like pretty normal for most card games, honestly, like 2 3 months. New ban list comes out every 3 months ish, you know. So if
Yeah.
it's like that, then I would like to actually play with the card for 3 months rather than okay, this new card comes out, it's not going to be relevant for 6 months, maybe. Who knows, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that they do OTAs every week, I would I would much rather they don't power creep the game because I've been playing these games for a long time. I've been around the block, and the when the pattern comes out where every new release is broken, it will kill the game in my opinion. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it will for sure kill it for me personally. Maybe other people will play it, but if every new card comes out as broken, I won't play this game anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's not fun to me. That is like actual pay to win, like just garbage. As long as I just spend
Yeah.
money on the bundles and get the new cards, I don't have to try that hard. I'll put them in my deck. I'm just gonna win. And I think they've been doing a much better job with that lately. Like I said, I think the November, December, January cards all look awesome. The Miss Marvel next couple season pass cards look awesome to me. So I'm not like too worried about that now. But when it was Loki, Elsa, Eliath, like that's or Zabu Silver Surfer, or let's just like leave Shuri alone for 2 months. Like, man, it's like really hard. And Shuri was like 6K, like a lot of that time. Or Shuri was really hard to get too for a lot
Yeah.
of people. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't love that game design. I rather they just try to release cards like Dakin, try to release cards like Miss Marvel, like
Yeah.
they could be good, but not like crazy. Ravona could be a season pass card, like just cool stuff like this.
Yeah. I agree with you. I would
Yeah.
much rather that too.
Mhm.
I would much rather that too. But I'd rather like I guess Loki's an exception. I would not
Mhm.
rather them release like a card like Loki be released that just like makes the whole game about only Loki.
Mhm.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Um, I would rather them release a card like Elsa than release a card like Nimrod and Nimrod's.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
I would rather that. Because to me at least, okay, I can play Elsa, I can have fun with it. Nimrod's like, okay, I bought this card and it's shit.
Yeah,
But yes, and then to your point, like if it's two over two, and like Elsa, like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they nerfed her, which I think is fine.
yeah. Yeah, and
But yeah,
I think that's ultimately where we disagree because I would
yeah,
prefer to
yeah, yeah,
play in the Nimrod
yep,
season,
yep.
and yeah, and
I see
then
what you're saying. I see what
yeah,
you're saying.
and if
I
you
know what
even
you
look
mean.
at this, upcoming OTA, like buffing Warpath, buffing like Jessica Jones, like if you want to freshen up the meta, I would prefer they try to do it like this, you know?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that like then then the meta's always fresh anyway. So season pass, if Nimrod comes out and he's terrible, like you could just buff him the next week and like then it's
Yeah.
lit, you know. So I
My
don't.
so my opinion also comes with the caveat of
Mhm.
they actually do nerf the cards if they're broken.
Yeah,
Like I don't
yeah,
want don't I, like let me be clear. I don't want them to release broken cards and they stay broken. They just keep
mhm,
releasing more broken ones. Like I don't want that. I want them. I'd rather
yeah.
them shoot high and then eventually nerf it if they have to.
That's my
Yeah,
fear is that yeah,
they
if
won't.
they get in
Your
the
fear.
habit of
Yeah, yeah,
releasing
yeah.
cards too strong, then it's just gonna be a never ending cycle of ridiculous cards coming out. Let's say it takes them 3 weeks to nerf them on average. Then every
Yeah.
new card that comes out, we're just going to be in a bullshit meta for 3 weeks of the broken card that they just making you pay to win, and then it's just going to get nerfed anyway. But then the new one just came out. Now it's Gladiator meta. Now Gladiator's nerfed. Oh, now it's a Nihilist meta. Okay, now Nihilist gets nerfed. Okay, now it's whatever the new Hulk meta. Like it's just like
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, no, I don't want that either. I
I
don't
don't
want
want
that
to live
either.
in that world. So that's my fear. So I don't want to play Nimrod season either. Like I said, but
Yeah.
even like Nebula season was
Well,
a little
the good thing about all this is like
bit.
we were saying before. I don't want to beat on a dead horse here, but
Mhm,
they're saying they're committed to investing more resources into play testing and balance and game design. So
mhm,
we'll see going forward what happens.
mhm,
And then I think this OTA, which we're about to get into, these changes is like you said. I think it's a good step in the right direction. They
mhm,
refresh some other cards that like see zero play.
mhm.
And yeah. So let's talk about this the first one. Here we go. Mobius and Mobius.
The big one.
We got a little spice earlier this week. They told us they're like, "Hey guys, chill. We're reverting." Okay,
Mhm.
and this proved that they can in OTAs go from they can change actually text now. So they actually this it was a 2-3 on reveal. Now it's a 3-3 ongoing. So he's back to what he was before. Before he was a 2-3. Now he's a 3-3. No big deal. What do you think about this change?
I like this a lot actually. I mean, it was just like I always said, you just compare this to other cards. So, probably
Yeah.
still pretty strong compared to Cosmo, but I would say he's in line with like a Killmonger kind of power level where he affects all um Killmonger affects all one costs. Mobius affects all cost reduction, like globally, you know?
Yep.
So it's a far reach and you have to pay a price. Like 3-3 is not a great stat line. When you were playing wave at 3-3, you had to give something up to get something, you know? Like you had to sacrifice power. You're sacrificing something. By playing a 3-3, you're sacrificing absolutely nothing by playing a 2-3. So I
Yep.
like this change a lot. And I think it's gonna be like pretty fine. Like, I think it's still going to be a card that gets played, but I don't think it'll be like super broken like it was before.
So I have a couple of opinions.
Hmm.
One's a hot take. I will first say that this is probably good for the game, this
Hmm.
change, and I think they did a good job with this change. I think it's probably where he needs to be.
Hmm.
That being said, I'm pissed.
Yeah, you hate the card. I mean,
I hate this
let's put it
fucking
out
card.
there. You personally hate this card.
I fucking hated this card so much. I was
Yeah.
so happy when he got nuked and left the game. I was having so much fun with Marvel Snap. I
Mhm,
understand that it's
mhm,
healthier for the game. I just wish, personally, I wish they made Loki a 5 drop, a 5 cost. If they made Loki a 5 cost, because this on reveal is a 2-3, making him a 2-3 on reveal. When they nuked him, that
mhm.
just made Loki, that just made the meta degenerate into Loki Quinjets. And then,
Yeah.
you're getting Loki Quinjet mirrors with Collector again, and it's like stupid. Make
Yeah.
Loki a 5 drop. That way, this on reveal actually means something. You can play
Mhm,
this on turn 5, and that way you can cuck Loki players.
mhm.
Make Loki a 5-6 or 5-7, and I think then it's a pretty cool card as a 2-3 on reveal. I understand the 3-3 ongoing, and I get it. It's fine. I just like I was having so much fun with Ravona decks and just all the
Mhm.
cost reduction. I think to me that's some of the most fun is cheating out mana.
Yeah.
Um, And then, playing like goblins, Black Widow for one, that kind of stuff it was a lot of fun. I was having a lot of fun, and I'm sad, but maybe as a 3/3, he's not going to be that prevalent because I think part of me being pissed off was that he was in every single deck. So like you literally just felt like you couldn't play any like Ravona decks or anything. And it was like strangling, like just you couldn't play anything. Um, so now as a 3/3, I think he won't be in every deck. He'll be in some decks, not all of them. And I think it'll be good because then I think we'll still be able to play Zabu and Ravona. So
Yeah, that's my initial because I played a decent amount today, and that's kind of my initial feeling is that I think you're going to be okay playing these decks. You probably can't play Sarah still, because I don't know if Sarah was good enough to begin with, you know, and
yeah,
he kind of just owns the whole deck, right? But like I said, with Zabu, you still get to play like you go Zabu Miss Marvel or Zabu Darkhawk or whatever, right? And then they play a 3/3 Mobius, or it's like you're still doing pretty okay,
yeah,
like you still got you still if you're playing junk, you still got your junk cards, like whatever, so and if your whole deck is like super reliant on cost reduction, like let's say you're playing Mr. Negative, like right now I have Mr. Negative and like I have Absorbing Man in my Mr. Negative list because
yeah,
Mobius was dead for the last 3 days. So I was just
yeah,
like, I'm just going off. I'm popping off every game.
yeah,
Now I think I would just put Rogue instead. She's a 3/2, so she gets reversed. She's a 2/3. And Rogue's just a pretty good card anyway. It's got a ton of utility, especially with Miss Marvel meta. So you put
yeah,
Rogue in there. They play a Mobius. You just Rogue them. This is no big deal.
yeah. Yeah, oh, the Ravona negative decks were so fun too.
Mhm.
Thanos negative, Revis had one. Oh man, you're making me more sad by talking about Mr. Negative.
I think
He
you
was
could play
not
him.
good.
I think his play rate's
Yeah,
gonna go like from 30%. Like it was like 30% play rate. It's gonna go down to like probably 8%, something like that.
yeah,
If I had to
I
guess.
know. I don't think Mobius should cuck Mr. Negative like that because he was never a good deck to begin with.
Would you
Still just saw how I
prefer?
roll.
It's just a philosophical question because I've said this about Kang and Killmonger. Would you prefer if Mobius was just like not in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's honestly fair because he's a kind of a boring card, and he's really not that fun. Like, so I get it. I
I would
get that.
prefer him on the game with again the caveat that low key is a 5 drop.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Just
they
well, that just comes down to just balance the game. Kind of what we're saying in the last discussion, where it's like, hey, just try to balance the game. Like
yeah,
if Loki's OP, you got
exactly.
to nerf him. Like do we need Mobius to be the only thing you do against Loki? Like I think that's kind of stupid too. The whole I need the tech card to beat the deck. Like
Yeah.
maybe my destroy deck should just be able to beat it.
And I will say
Power.
like I don't think that all these decks were like super broken
Mhm.
except for Loki when Mobius was a 2/3.
Yeah, they did a good job balancing Zabu, for example, without releasing Mobius. They balanced Zabu like pretty good, right? Like
Yeah.
so
Like I think the Ravona decks were fine. Like they all were good decks, but they weren't like broken
yeah.
beyond belief. It was just the Loki that was the issue.
Hmm.
But I think honestly, I'm not like actually mad, but I think this is gonna be good for the game, the
Yeah.
3/3. But yeah, I prefer this card not be in the game because I
Yeah,
was having
I
so
don't
much
mind
fun
it
without
being
it.
in, but I don't love it either. But I don't mind it being in the game, especially as a 3/3, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange, finally. How
yeah.
long have you've said this for a long time,
I
this,
think on the
right?
first pod we talked about like when they first announced OTAs, I was like, where's Doctor Strange buff? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, shout out months ago, first pod, just
Yeah,
the kids out here grinding.
yeah.
Doctor Strange 3/3, now he's a 2/3. Amazing.
Hmm.
He was so horrible as a 3/3.
He's just a clear standout as the bad card in the move deck. Like,
Yeah.
if you're and it was the move season, and Ghost Spider came out, and still nobody's playing move. It's like
Uh,
clearly a
Ghost
problem
Spider
with the
was
move
a
deck. Yeah,
yeah, Ghost Spider was a 2/3 on release.
yeah,
So like the thing with move is there's not enough like really the threats can't get big enough to be relevant in the meta when the cards that enable the threats cost too much.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I agree. Yeah.
Because like Vulture's a 3/3, but like you move him twice and then he's a 3/13, right?
Hmm.
But you have to move him twice. So you can't spend 3 mana for Doctor Strange
Hmm.
and 2 mana on a Ghost Spider. You have Iron Fist as one. You need these other cards. You have Cloak as a 2, right? But you need lower cost move enablers in order to make the deck somewhat viable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this gonna make it move? I don't know. I'm gonna wait for some of the move masters on Twitter to get their lists out because then I'm gonna start playing move again. This is getting me excited.
Yeah, I've played against it a couple times. It's definitely stronger. I mean, I don't think it's just going to put Move back on the map. I mean, Move has some fundamental problems. I think
Yeah.
one with locations, and two that Professor X is existing in the meta is like a big deal for Move.
Yeah.
Also, I
True.
think Loki's like pretty good against it too because the whole deck is like 2 cost now. So
Yeah.
like you just Loki, they're all one. Like you're going to be ping ponging with your Loki deck like
Yeah.
against the Move deck, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you play Mobius in your Move deck. I don't know, but that seems bad because you're giving up turn 3, and I think turn 3 is like really important in that deck. So
Yeah. No,
um,
you're not gonna do that. I mean, I think a cool yeah. Aside from the Loki issue, a cool thing to do is Werewolf by Night. He's a cool addition because
yeah,
now you can put what's his name Heimdall in his own lane, like
hmm
maybe on the far right, and then Werewolf comes over with Heimdall. You win that lane, then all your shit moves over, and then you could win. You can have some pretty big, Vulture, Dagger, Human Torch kind of stuff.
hmm
So that could be kind of cool too.
yeah, and obviously Craven, like just the natural synergy with
Yeah,
Craven,
yeah, yeah, and Craven, yeah, yeah,
insane. Yeah,
him
yeah,
too.
yeah,
So like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. You don't have to like pick a Heimdall lane. Like Heimdall and Werewolf by Night can win a lane on their own.
yeah. I love
Now
this
this,
change. I think
yeah,
I like the Ghost Bear change was good, and I think this change is good too. I mean,
yeah,
hey, if you're
I
trying
love
to
it.
help an archetype, just pick the worst cards and buff them. Like,
Yeah, and you said that about Doctor Strange. I don't know a few times on this pod. I
yeah,
think.
as a three. Oh, he's 3-3 before. I would say even if he was a 3-4, I think he's horrible.
Yes.
Like, yeah,
No,
but
they
two
need they
three,
need
like
lower cost.
this card's sick as a 2-3 now.
Yeah, I
Mhm,
love it.
mhm.
Here's the
Woo!
arguably the biggest change, maybe more than Mobius. Uh, this is one of the best changes I think they probably have ever done, in my opinion. Shang-Chi,
Mhm.
uh, old 4/3 on reveal, destroy enemy cards that have 9 or more power. 4/3, now he destroys cards that have 10 or more power. So they nerfed Shang-Chi and Crossbones all in one.
And Drax, and Drax.
And Drax. Oh my
Poor
god.
Drax, like Batista can't catch a break, man. What are you gonna do?
So what do you think about this change, man? I go you tell me your thoughts. I love it.
I was gonna say I love this change.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi was crazy, man. Shang-Chi was always crazy since we've started playing the game. This card
Yeah.
was just ridiculous. Um, it also opens up a lot of like new cards that you could play now. Like we're talking about
Mhm.
Rescue. They did bump up the She-Hulk, but 8 power is no longer like that sweet spot. Like you play
Yeah.
not like Chavez, like kind of dodges it now, which is kind of interesting. And then
Yeah. Chavez is a playable card.
it's just
Black Cat,
yeah, that's true. Black Cat ducks it, but
Jessica Jones.
yeah,
We'll get to
Jessica
her.
Jones is like pretty cool. I think Warpath too, right?
Warpath goes to a 10.
Oh, he goes to 10, so he gets punched. But one punch. I don't know, man. Shang Chi. I didn't like this card. Like to be honest, I know like Alex loves it. Alex Kocha obsessed with it or whatever. But like I never liked this card. I thought it was kind of like dumb that it just kills everything. So I like that he's a 10. He got nerfed,
Yeah.
and it still does. It's still the release valve. It's like it's a good
Yeah.
nerf, but it keeps it. If you're a deck that's worried about big cards, you're still gonna play Shang Chi.
Mhm. I personally never thought that he was an issue. I never thought he was too overtuned or anything. Like 4/3 is a 4/4 cost, a lot of commitment for a card. So I thought he was good and necessary. I personally never thought he was overtuned. But the reason why I like this change is not because I thought he was overtuned, but because this opens up so much more design space for cards in like the 4, 5, and 6 cost. And I'm so excited about that
Mhm.
because like now you don't have to worry about like, oh, if we make this, we have to make this 5 drop an 8 because if we make it a 9, then it's in Shang Chi range. Now they have more stuff. They can make a 5/9 with even like like a worse ability or something, right? But it won't get Shang Chi.
Yeah.
Or they can make a 5/10 with
Mhm,
a 5/10,
mhm.
that gets Shang Chi.
Yeah,
They can make 6/9s. Like Living Tribunal now doesn't get Shang Chi.
yeah.
Um, you know, So I think just like the design space for cards they can make at 9 cost now, and even like, oh, they're gonna make a card that's good, like with a ability similar to Vision, but make it 8 power, and then make a card that's worse at 10 power at 5 drop. You know, I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, we've we'll get to Jessica Jones later, but just on the same point that you're talking about, like we've talked about it. There's not a whole lot you can do to Jessica Jones with the old Shang-Chi, right? Like
Yeah,
she has to be a 4/8 because if she goes +5 power on reveal, like she's just actually a worse card now just because
yeah,
Shang-Chi exists.
yeah,
So now you could, if you wanted to, hey, if you wanted to, you could make her, go to a 4/9. Another one that stood out when you were talking about that was Arrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Arrow buff to 5/9. Because she Arrow's at that 5/8. I don't think anybody plays her, and people love Arrow, so I could see them, bringing her back up to 9.
yeah. Who knows?
Mhm.
Because yeah, that's cool. Like it just like the new cards come out, they don't have to be limited by this. You know.
Yeah, Rescue like could maybe be a card now, like stuff
Yeah,
like
what
that.
would be the best for this game in terms of like balance would be if they doubled everything, doubled
Mm.
every card's power,
Yeah,
but
then
that
you
just
have
makes it
room.
too confusing and too much math, you know?
Mhm.
That then they can make 1 point adjustments, and it'd be a lot more room, it'd be a lot better for balance, but
Yeah,
it's much too confusing and they'll never do that, but
yeah.
and
I think a lot of
I like it the way it is. I'm just saying,
I think a lot of the
hypothetically.
appeal with like Hearthstone, and they obviously stole the values from Hearthstone for this game. Like they just copied Hearthstone basically,
And
and
Brew, baby.
is the simplicity and the math of
Mhm.
everything. Right? It's just like easy, small numbers, very simple. Everything happens fast, and you could just count it, and it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Mhm.
here, Abomination too, they kept it at 5/9.
Mhm.
So, like, a flick dex might be a thing, dude. There's, like, not that much Luke Cage running around, like,
Yeah, She
you
Hulk
just
got
do
buffed too. So
yeah,
yeah.
you just do She-Hulk, Moon Girl, Abomination, a flick dex,
Mhm.
you might
Uh,
just be slapping.
I mean, I was playing armor in mine. I don't know if you just take them out now, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
She Hulk still gets punched, so who
But,
knows?
yeah, this is, I think this is a great change. I'm pretty excited, and I'm gonna just, face palm when I throw down Shang-Chi in a lane where a card has 9, just out
Mhm.
of habit.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, shit." I'm
I've
gonna
got
lose.
I won some cubes today. A guy did that to me. Yeah.
I'm gonna lose cubes for
I was just
sure
giving
today,
him
but
a thumbs up and Deadpool thinking emoji.
this is toxic.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
great.
love the emoji spam. I can't help myself.
Yeah. So that's good. I think we're both on the same page. We like that
Mhm.
change.
Mhm.
Monster, they made the monster just a 6'10", just to make him Shang-Chi range. That
Mhm.
is also like a buff to like Iron Man and stuff like that too, right? Because like
Mhm.
they just get better when they buff these cards.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man just gains 2 power on this kind of lane, right?
2, yeah. Yeah.
um, She-Hulk, which they kind of hinted at a week ago, was
She's
a
back.
6'9". They back to a 6'10". So earlier this year she was a 6'10". Then
Mhm.
they nerfed her, but now the meta is such that like they don't need her as a 6'9". 6'10 is fine, and they want her in Shang-Chi range.
And Mobius does exist now, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, she was in a world before where there was nothing you could do except
Yeah,
for wave on 5 was the only thing you could do, but yeah.
yeah. There was even a time where that
Actually,
helped her,
yeah, there's a part where you just play her with wave, yeah. So, yeah.
where you could play Doctor Doom, Wave, and Death and She-Hulk on the last turn.
Yeah, the Doom wave, like the wave nerf on Doom wave was I think when She-Hulk started going down. I don't think it was that she
Yeah,
went
yeah,
from 10 to 9 power. I think it's just you couldn't play her with wave anymore.
yeah. So yeah, I think this is a fine change. It's good. It's in line with like the meta and stuff, right?
Mhm.
Warpath was a 4/5 plus 4 power. Now he's a 4/5 plus 5 power, so he can be a 4/10. So those bots are gonna get stronger.
Yeah,
Those ongoing those destroyer bots.
yeah.
So I think what they say here, they want to give like early game players just some stuff. It's a pretty efficient powerhouse in early meta games. It makes him the kind of card where like Shang-Chi being able to handle. Yeah, that's fine. I think this is good. I like when they do changes like this. Nice.
Yeah, there might be just a an overall design issue with Warpath. I don't know what you do with him, but yeah,
He's fine.
I think that card needs a rework in my opinion.
No, he's fine. He's fine. Let the series 2 and 3 players play with him. He's gonna be a 410
Let's get
now.
Destroyer up to like 18 power, man. Let's get.
That'd be sick. And then Jessica Jones, another sick. This is an awesome change. She was a 4/4 plus 4 power. Now she's a 4/5 plus 4 power. If you don't play a card at this location the next turn, probably one of the better 4 drops in the game now. I mean, at a 4/9, can't be Shang-Chi now. What do you think? No big deal.
I mean, like I said, I've been playing with it. This is out of all the OTA changes that came out, this was the one that stood out to me as I want to play with this card immediately.
Yeah,
She feels great, but she was pretty good in a Storm Lane before, right? Like
yeah,
that was a classic combo. That's why the W guy was running Drax, because you just play him in the Storm Lane. But Drax also gives you the option to play on turn 6 as well, and Jessica Jones doesn't do that. I think that's why he was playing the Drax, but um, I think Jessica Jones is just a way better card than Drax, and so I
me
like
too.
playing real cards in my deck. So I put her in
Yeah,
there, and
that's nice.
yeah,
And you
I,
could
I
just
think it's a cool change. Like 9 power for 4 is like really nice, and you got to compare it to like Darkhawk, I guess, right? Where he's the big stat boy.
yeah,
Sometimes Darkhawk is 8 or 6, if you don't get your combos off, and sometimes Darkhawk is 10 or 12. So you know, Jessica
yeah,
Jones is like right in between that.
yeah. Consistent, right? You just throw it in a lane. You just don't play on that lane the next turn. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's easy to plan. Does she make it in Zabu decks? You think?
I think it depends on the deck. If the deck has Korg, Black Widow, Rock Slide, probably not, I would say, right? You
Yeah,
want to just focus on your Darkhawk, kind of game plan. Maybe Mystique Dino, Mystique Iron Lad, maybe Junk, whatever, right? Whatever you're playing with the Darkhawk package. That she doesn't really fit that game plan, right? Because you want to be playing the rock stuff early, right?
yeah.
So I don't know. I think you could make a Zabu deck maybe without Darkhawk, and I think Jessica Jones maybe would be interesting in that deck. I don't know if that's a real deck though. We'll see.
Who knows? Yeah, she's a good 4 drop. Like, you could put her on any deck. I think. Like, it just be you're not mad playing a 4/9 ever. I don't think.
No, it's great.
Um,
Well,
and she's
especially
an
if you can
on
get Shang-Chi.
reveal. She's an on reveal, so she's can trigger werewolf too.
Werewolf, yeah.
Wild.
hmm
Yeah, I'll probably try and throw her in some lists. I mean, I'm gonna just stubbornly run junk until I get to infinite with junk, or I won't get infinite and just only play junk this whole season.
I had a
But
game where she just won me Kamartage by herself. It was great. Like just throw her in there. She broke twice.
like God, it's pretty sweet.
It was just like a 413, and then I just had priority for Eliath. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think she's a good card.
Mhm.
Strong guy. Here we go. Finally, this guy gets some love. Jesus, the least played card in all of Marvel Snap. Was a 4/4 ongoing if your hand is empty plus 6 power. Now he's a 3/3. So my guess is he's gonna eventually get the Shadow King treatment, where he started off as a 4, went to a 3, then ended on a 2, maybe. So I don't know. He could be a 3/9. So I mean, what do you think about him in like a discard list that doesn't run APOC?
I'm happy you brought up the Shadow King treatment because I think he sucks still.
Yeah, I don't. It still seems pretty hard to get him to a 3/9. Like, what do you have to do, Modoc, or like you just have to discard a bunch of shit? Like, I don't
it's
know.
it's such a difficult condition to get him to a 3/9. I think ultimately he's going to end up in when the new zoo card comes out in January. I think he's going to end up in the zoo list,
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
and he'd be reasonable at that point, right? Because this is probably better than you got to compare him to like Dazzler, I guess, in those lists where she's like perfect condition. She's a 3/8, I think.
Yeah.
This is probably in those lists even a little bit easier to reach,
Yeah.
and is a 3/9. So in a list like that, maybe like a new zoo, we'll call it, list. But in like just today, like, can you play strong guy in a deck? I don't think you can.
Can you? But what do you think about like a discard list without Apocalypse?
Well, you'd have to be playing Modoc without Apocalypse, and probably then you're probably not running Dracula as well, right? So you're kind of taking all the best pairing cards with Modoc and like not having them in the list. Like Apocalypse is like Apocalypse, Dracula, Modoc, like those three cards together, like that's like all of your power, right?
What
So
about like a Black Knight then? I mean, I don't have Black Knight, but what about like a
yeah,
non-Dracula APOC Black Knight discard with Strong Guy?
I think you're still playing Dracula in those lists,
Well, I'm
right?
saying, what if you don't?
Yeah, yeah, you'd have to not
Because
play
then,
Dracula.
because then you can just YOLO Hell Cow too, right? You just throw a 4/8 down there.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, you
I don't
couldn't
know. I
play
don't know.
it.
I'm just saying stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's horrible. I don't know. I'm coping for this guy. I'm trying to fit something
I
in
mean,
with him because
three
like
nine is interesting now because it stays under Shang-Chi now. So,
yeah, I think
but
they said that too.
yeah, yeah, they probably did that on purpose. But yeah, I don't know, man. Every time I've tried to play Strong Guy, it is extreme. It's the same. I feel like he's like in the same basket as Omega Red, where okay, yeah, you get it off, but like then you get some power, and like it's usually not enough to win you the game, but just how difficult it is to get this guy to go.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like when I think the card's name is Kyra, whatever, the one that like lets your one cost not die,
Hmm.
and you just zoo everything out, and
Yeah.
you just play a bunch of one costs, a bunch of disrupt one costs, and then throw this guy in at some point, and you just dump your whole hand.
Hmm.
That could be pretty interesting. Just having
Yeah,
a random 3/9 somewhere.
those decks can dump like the whole hand for sure, like easily. So
But then like this is also which I want to also one of the reasons I want to warn the people here. Um why Werewolf by Night will probably get nerfed because
mhm.
he's a 3/3 and he gets a 3/9 so much easier than
Yeah,
this card.
yeah.
It's not even funny. It's so easy to get Werewolf to
We
a
said it last
3/9.
week. Werewolf's getting nerfed. Like it's happening. Like you were asking, should people buy it? I said yes because he's fun, and even
He's so
after the
much
nerf,
fun.
he's probably going to be pretty good even after he gets nerfed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but he is most likely getting nerfed. Like let's be real.
Yeah. Even as a 3/1, he's still going to be really good.
Yeah,
And he dude, even now him as a 3/9 dodges Shang.
actually, yeah, that's true. The Shang buff it's tough though. It's tough to hit Wolf with the Shang.
That's true. Well, you could like not have priority.
Yeah,
I
if you
have
got
that.
Prile, you can do it. But the Wolf player
Yeah.
usually has Prile because the freaking Wolf is so strong.
Yeah, when you have a 340, it's pretty hard to not
Yeah,
have Pyle.
that lane's already good. On going into turn 6.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I say too. Like what you always say is like just look at the cards that are out there. You just released Werewolf by Night, who's a 3/3, who gets up to a 3/9 for nothing
Mhm.
basically,
Yeah.
and this is a 3/3. Gets with the 3/9 when you have to have the fucking heavens part and like like
Yes.
it's so hard to do this
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
actually have like a good board state.
it's
Like
the same
yes,
thing.
anyone can Modoc on 5 and then like destroy your whole hand and you know, but
Yeah, it's like if you compare Omega Red to Miss Marvel, Omega Red, like like you said, the heavens have to part, and you get a 413. If you definitely play it in the middle and it doesn't get countered or anything, right? And
yeah,
then you have to be winning by 10, which is not easy in Marvel Snap. And then
yeah,
Miss Marvel, as long as you don't have the same cost cards in the lane, she's a 415, like
yeah,
pretty easily, you know.
yeah.
So one's a 413 that's really hard, and then it's a 15. So this is the same thing. It's like, this werewolf gets up to 11, like, 13, 15, like, and the strong guy's just like capped at 9, and it has to be perfect. So
All right, listen, hear me out. I'm just thinking about something right now.
mhm.
What if you just play a good stuff deck with Chavez, Modoc, and Strong Guy?
Chavez, uh, Modoc. So you're always doing Modoc on turn 6.
5.
Oh, but then whatever you draw, you can play basically.
There's Chavez. You play Chavez in the list.
Oh, okay.
That way you're just
Got.
playing a bunch of good cards,
Hmm.
just like to try and get ahead throughout the game. You Modoc, which is a 5/8, which is pretty good stats. And you Chavez on turn 6, and that can't be Shang-Chi anymore.
Hmm.
And then Strong Guy it's a 15-point play on turn 6.
Well, I think that's got to be our homework for next pod, kid.
Yeah.
We gotta each try out a strong guy list and just see if we can make it work.
Fine, fine. Fine, I'll play a stupid strong guy list. I think that's what I'm gonna try. I want to just like a good stuff, like just I'll find a random good stuff deck and just take out 3 cards and add, strong guy, MODOK, and Chavez.
I think you probably do a discard list, right? Because you could play the swarms out,
I won't do it.
Oh, well, you could do a swarm. Like you could have
Yeah,
swarm
you
as one of
can.
your good cards. You could have swarm Colleen, like a mini,
That's true.
those because those are high stats, good cards, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, hey, that's what I'll try with mine. You do yours, yeah.
Yeah. Do whatever the hell you want to do, all right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not running your discard bullshit.
Fair.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. I think this change these changes are all really good. I like them all.
I do want to point out that it's a +12 with onslaught.
This one?
Yeah.
No, onslaught. Oh, onslaught. Oh. Throw them in your Miss Marvel decks now.
Maybe you
Tribunal
need
strong
like
guy.
Invisible Woman Modoc to make that work. I don't know how you'd make that work, but it's a +12.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
You got to play onslaught early though, right? Or you have to hope that you draw them on 6
There's
only.
some bullshit you're gonna have to do. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
um, and then they're gonna make some changes. There's no OTAs on the 23rd or the 4th. Oh man, that means there's gonna be no OTA until the next patch, right? Because next week there's no OTA. Then they're not doing another OTA.
Mm.
So that's just gonna be a patch. The next update's gonna be a patch. So we're in this meta. So we're stuck in this meta for 3 weeks now. Fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It seems pretty fun to me so
Yeah,
far.
yeah, I
Anyway.
think so.
Yeah,
And
it's a
then
good
yeah,
meta to be stuck in. I think.
no, I think it's gonna be good. Yeah, because
Mhm.
now Mobius is back, so at least like it
Yeah,
can rein in the Loki players a little bit.
yeah.
Um, yeah. What do you rate this change here? Not strong guy, all of them, the
All of
whole
them,
OTA.
I like it. I mean, the last one was a 10 out of 10. This one's an 8 out of 10 for me.
You gave the last one a 7, you little bitch. Don't you give it a 10?
No, the big one. What was the big one with where they increased Loki to 4? It was like 7. Remember they did like 7 changes. They put
Oh,
collector
the
back.
OTA, the OTA. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that one was a
I
10.
thought you meant the patch. I was like, I gave the last patch a 9 or a 10 because I loved that they nuked Mobius and you
Yeah.
gave it a
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, that's true. And so yeah, even that. So last patch, yes, I gave 7. I stand by that, and I would give this one an 8. What about you?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This one, you give this an 8.
Mhm.
I think I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's good. I like it a lot.
I
If
like
there
the
was no
Shang nerf.
Mobius, it
I
would have
like
been a
the
10.
Warpath Jessica Jones buff idea. I don't know if it'll matter, but I just like that they're trying that kind of shit.
Yeah, and I like that they're trying with Strong Guy too, right? Like
Yeah.
the card that literally has the least amount of play in all of Marvel
Mhm.
Snap.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, let's try something.
Mhm.
Jessica Jones, great, a 9.
Mhm.
Warpath, they're trying.
Mhm.
She Hulk back up to a 10 in Shang-Chi range.
Mhm.
And then Shang-Chi. I think this is a brilliant change. The
Mhm.
Shang-Chi,
Mhm.
just make him a 10. Just open up their design space a lot more. So I think we'll see a lot more cool cards that they can work with, not be constrained by him. You know, great. And then Doctor Strange, man, move decks. All right, move strong guy move. Let's see.
Yeah, there's so much in this patch, right? There's like a lot, right?
Yeah,
So that's why I
really
like
good.
it.
Maybe
So I
even a
think
9,
8
like 8
is
or 9.
yeah. I don't know how relevant any of the cards will be, so that's why I'm not going higher. But
Yeah, that's
I
true.
like what they're doing, and if all the OTs were like this, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, no, I think they're doing a good job. I think they're doing a good job. What do you think with their like what they're saying about like, hey, we're gonna hire more people. Do you think they're genuine? I guess is what I'm trying to ask you.
I don't know if they're gonna hire more people, but I think they're gonna take some people where they're working on something else, and they're gonna be helping some play testing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a reallocation of resources. Like I don't know if they were doing UI changes for the PC launch. Get some of those people, and hey guys, it's time to play test the freaking season pass
I
card because
I think they're
we're
gonna
having
hire
another
people because they
ultra
said they
MLG.
said they're gonna add more to their balance team, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you can't just make someone who's like a UI person just be a balance person. Like that's a
Hey
whole
man, they
different
play
thing.
Marvel Snap, figure it out. It's time, it's time to learn. You're gonna learn today. If you want to keep your job, you're gonna have to learn how to play this game, man. Like,
but
let's go. That's how I interpret it anyway. Because I don't
but
think they're just gonna hire a bunch of people. Like,
I think they'll hire a couple. I
yeah,
don't like they're not gonna hire
maybe.
like 40 people, but they'll hire some. I think.
I think if they're gonna hire new people, they should hire people at the top of the ladder. pick out the top, like Toncho and W and Lambie, all these guys, and get have them come in as a consultant, and
I
make
think
it
they
so
should
that
too.
they sign a disclosure where they can't play in any tournaments for the next month. And if anybody's interested in getting paid to test the game, they should get someone from the top 10 of Infinite, and they should be testing the game. That's if you're
Yeah,
going to hire people, that's how I think they should do it.
I think that'd be a
Yeah.
great idea. You
All
know,
games should do that. Your best players should be testing shit like ahead of time.
yeah, and then they can immediately tell you, hey, this is broken. Here's why.
They'll know immediately. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It
think
won't
that's
be as
awesome.
bad where they're like, our play conditions are, it's like, oh no, like guys, Lambie's playing it. He's telling you it's broken. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of like that they were open about everything. They kind of said that they fucked up. They apologized. I guess we'll see going forward, right?
Mhm.
Like you said, the next 3 seasons, including this one, this November, December, January, it doesn't seem like there's anything that's like, wow, this is ridiculously broken. What the hell?
And Annihilus might be, but I love the design so much that I don't care. You know?
Yeah, actually, that's the only one where it's like, yeah, it might just be everywhere. But
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a card where it's going to be everywhere for a couple weeks, and then
Mhm.
people will stop
I don't even
playing
know
it.
if it's gonna be good, to be honest. Like it might be decent. Like it's 5/7 now, right? So yeah, I don't know. Now that we're getting like easy 9 power, the Shang-Chi thing is like really, really big change. Like it's gonna have a massive implication on how we like play the game now. Like you could
Yeah,
just throw out 9 power like it's nothing now and not worry about it. You could never put out 9 power till like turn 6 before.
yeah. We're
You just
gonna, yeah,
yeah,
our whole like the way we think about the game is gonna change a lot now. So
yeah.
it's hard to see. Um, what do you think about this next week? Gladiator coming out
I'm
next week.
excited. I'm
Spotlight.
excited for Gladiator.
So am I. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's as good as I think he's gonna be. I thought he was gonna be really good, but like, so like Glenn confirmed the on reveals definitely go off, which I think we already knew.
Yeah.
Cards like Null and Devil Dino, it's not their base power. They actually get time to ramp up.
Okay.
So like you know how Devil Dino is a 5/3
Mhm.
baseline? Like it's not just gonna be a 5/3. He won't just destroy it. It'll be a 5, whatever it is. So I don't know. I don't know.
I'll die on the hill that I think as a 3/8 it was broken. Like
I think so too.
I think that's insane. We just talk about strong guy, how much you have to go to get to a 3/9. Like just you could just slam a 3/8 down there like it's nothing. Like
Yeah, he'll be.
three yeah, changing a 3/7 is massive, massive nerf. For a card like this, with just the whole thing is like, hey, is your card bigger or not? Like, the fact that you moved it down a power. And
Yeah,
it's just a Maximus now. You could just play Maximus, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. It might be a bad card, but I'm excited to just try it and see what happens.
yeah. It'll be cool. I mean, you can throw him behind Cosmo. You can use Zero with him too. Like maybe he becomes, you throw him in the Shuri Red Skull list and just
Yeah.
like but he's just a target to Zero. Who knows?
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, in Surfer list, he can go behind a Cosmo. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
And maybe in Junk list, he just pulls something out, and you're like, yeah, screw you.
That's what I'm
There goes your
thinking. I'm
combo.
thinking if I'm gonna play this card, I want to make it hurt. Like
Yeah,
I want them to feel the
yeah.
gladiator.
So
Whatever
I
lane
guess
has the
this.
most stuff in it, I'm playing it there every time.
What do you give this spotlight cash out of I guess I don't know, out of 5 or out of 10? What do you want to rate it as? I don't know.
If you don't have Loki, I mean, it's like windmill slam dunk pants off, like full fully erect, like go
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah,
if
Loki's
you
still
yeah
probably the best card in the game.
yeah.
Still probably the best deck in the game.
And if you don't have him, that means you haven't got to play with him yet. He's actually really fun for the first like
He's
month that you play
he's
with him. You
he's
know,
really fun. I
yeah,
was even having fun playing with him last week.
yeah. Like he's actually fun. Like it's a cool idea for a card. So yeah,
Yeah.
get Loki. If you already have Loki, it's Mirage and Gladiator. I'd probably pass. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and I like
And if
Mirage
that
too. Mirage is good, but
it
she's just a good card. I mean, that's all she is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Mirage is 3,000 tokens. So like
Mhm,
that's one like I think she's probably worth 3,000 if you want to pick her up, but like
mhm,
there's not too many decks that utilize her other than some Loki decks right now.
mhm,
Gladiator, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a meta defining card.
mhm.
So, I couldn't recommend if you have Loki already, I would not recommend rolling any spotlights on this. Or please don't spend 6,000 tokens on Gladiator.
Yeah, I think now that we're kind of the meta's caught up, we know what we're dealing with, and this is coming out like soon. I think when we first did the review of this one, we were recommending buying it, but now that we're here, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe this probably isn't it. Now that we can really think about the card, like we know what it's going to look like in this meta, like it's
Yeah.
probably not it. So, but I think I'm going to be getting it personally.
Yeah. And I would say too, like for people, like just wait 1 week. Wait
Yeah.
1 week. Let content creators get it. Let them play with it, and you can watch and see and make a decision for yourself. This isn't like one that I'll buy right away. Like next week is the week after this one's a nihilist, where I'm just it's gonna be instant roll. I'm not even gonna think twice.
Yeah. No, I got eight. I got 8 keys right now. I'm ready.
Yeah. I had some keys and then I did something. I may have rolled this week for spotlights, but or
For
for
variants.
variants. Oh yeah. I wanted that Goliath one, maybe.
It's sick though. It looks sick.
It may or may not have taken before.
Oh gosh. Well, you got all the other ones too. At least it's not like
Oh,
you're getting.
the Negasonic one. I don't need another goddamn null variant. The Negasonic one was worth it. That
Yeah,
variant's
that was
probably
kind of looks
one of
like
the
a Dan
best.
hip. It looks like a Dan.
This is
I've
one
seen
of the
it.
best in the game.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
No,
Yeah.
this looks better than a Dan Hip in my opinion. Look at
Yeah,
this.
yeah. No, for sure. It's like a Dan hip on steroids.
This looks so sick.
Hmm.
And then the
Yeah.
artist is pretty cool too. Ink Pulp.
Hmm.
I messaged him a couple times on Twitter saying how sick his art is, and he actually responded. And he's like,
Oh,
"I got
nice.
many more to come."
Oh, sick. Yeah, no, that one's
Yeah,
phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah, it's so cool. I think Negasonic. I really want to try this card a lot more too. Just
She's
doesn't
not
fit in
fun
my
to.
junk
She's not
archetype.
fun to play against. If you don't have a 1-drop in your hand, like, good luck.
Yeah,
They might have just won that lane. Like,
yeah. That's why I think she's a good card.
yeah.
Yeah, I think with Mobius out now, I think I'm gonna wait for some maybe Surfer list because I've never been a Surfer guy, but maybe with Jean Grey, with her, and with Surfer, and new Mobius, maybe I can join the dark side. Someone
Yeah,
has a good list.
yeah. I don't even think Surfer. I think you're part of the good guys if you're playing Surfer these days. I don't even think you're in the dark side. Galactus is still the dark side.
No, the dark side. I mean Mobius.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Three
three
Mobius.
now. It's fine. He's
I
fine.
know, yeah. Wow. But yeah. All right. That was a lot longer than I thought this was gonna be. Holy shit.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog did interrupt us a couple times, so sorry to get Randy edits, guys, at the start of the video. That's my bad. Sorry, Carlos. Poor guy.
Carlos going ham out there.
Yeah, he was going
It's
crazy.
alright. We love the doggos. What else you gotta say to the people this week?
Hey, nothing, man. Have fun. I guess we got meta for 3 weeks. Enjoy. If you run into me on the ladder, I'm gonna be ripping the cards out of your deck with Gladiator, slamming them on your side, and just laughing. Either it's gonna kill me or it's just gonna make me laugh, and I want to have fun, so I'm getting the card. Okay.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I'll be filling up your board. But yeah, I'm happy the change is good. I think everything's going in the right direction. I'm happy with second dinner. And the thing I want to say too is, I can't think, or I've never heard of any company that is this open with communication to like anyone. And again, I'm not a fucking shill for second dinner. They mean nothing to me. They don't give me anything. But we've played games our entire lives, and there's been never Blizzard doesn't do this shit. There's been no company that's ever done this. So it's
Yeah.
it's just so nice to have changes and have the game freshen up and them actually care about what the community says and stuff. Usually games they don't give a shit. They're like, oh fuck you, community.
Yeah. True.
So I don't know.
I
Yeah.
agree, man. No, it's great. I'll definitely keep playing. It's really fun.
Yeah, and hopefully they don't keep fucking up. So that's good. But yeah, have fun out there, everyone. Love it. Until next time. Peace.